Konnichiwa, everyone. I'm Bob, aka Japan So Far. Welcome back to my channel. I know we're all familiar with Japanese foods like sushi and ramen and tonkatsu, but what is it that everyday Japanese people eat? Well, I'm going to answer that in today's video because I am at my local Japanese supermarket called Sane, and I'm going to take you around and show you what some of my favorites are, what you can typically expect to find in a Japanese supermarket, and really explore what the locals in Japan like to eat. So if you're visiting Japan or you plan to visit Japan soon, this is what you can expect to find in a typical Japanese supermarket. So let's not waste any time and head right in and start looking around. All right, we're starting out here in the produce section. Here's some bananas. Although they grow bananas here in Okinawa, the kind you find in most grocery stores are from the Philippines. Moving on here, these are roasted sweet potatoes, which you can usually find at the front of every Japanese grocery store, especially in the fall and the winter. Here we're just looking at the prepackaged salads and lettuces. Tomatoes here in Japan, I like them, although they don't really typically have a great variety of tomatoes. In the States, you're used to seeing yellow and green tomatoes in the grocery aisle, but here they mostly just have red tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. This is a type of cherry tomato, Japanese cherry tomato, that I like. They're a little bit sweet, but they're really good in salads or to just dip in some mayo or something like that. They're also good to make with chicken and even fish dishes as well. I really like these little yellow cherry tomatoes also. These are shikwasas, which are an Okinawan citrus fruit, very similar to a lime. They're really good in the summer to mix with like cold water and maybe a little bit of sugar and make a nice refreshing drink. Here are pre-sliced coconuts that come with a little bamboo straw, so you can stick the straw down inside and drink the water directly out of the coconut. These are Japanese bell peppers, which you can see are quite a bit smaller than the peppers you may be used to getting in the States, but they taste pretty much the same. And these are really the only bell peppers you'll find in a Japanese supermarket. This is called Goya. It's a Japanese bitter melon. It has a really bitter taste, and it's used a lot in a dish called Goya shamporo, which is a mixture of spam or bacon, eggs, and this Goya fruit, which is served with rice. Very popular dish here in Okinawa, and not something you find in the States. These are daikon. I'm just putting my hand up here so you can see how big they are. This is a staple of the Japanese diet. These are used in a lot of things like salads, and sometimes they're boiled and mixed with soy sauce. And they have these smaller ones here that are cut up to a size that's a little bit more manageable if you don't want to buy an entire daikon. This is a Japanese grocery store, so of course you have a lot of varieties of tofu, hard, soft, medium, organic, everything in between. Here is the selection of kimchi, which I really love kimchi. It's hard to find good kimchi in a Japanese supermarket, but this kind here I really like. It's not too spicy, but it's got a nice kick to it, and it's usually pretty fresh tasting. Okay, moving on here, obviously in a Japanese supermarket, you're going to see a lot of fish. Here's some salmon fillets. Here's some sliced up maguro, which is tuna steaks. And these are one of my favorite things to eat as far as sushi or sashimi goes. And here's just a larger size of tuna steak, so you can get this and cut it into whatever size pieces you want. Okay, moving on to the snack aisle now. Here's some Cheetos. This is a beef yakiniku flavored Cheeto, so it tastes like grilled beef, soy sauce, and onions. Got the nutrition information there on the back. These little crispy chocolate things, I don't know what they're called, but these are one of my favorite Japanese snacks. So these are shikwasa and salt chips. So those shikwasa fruits that I showed you before, these are chips flavored with those and salt. They taste very similar to like salt and lime flavored chips that you would find in the States. This is kakipi. It's one of my favorite Japanese snacks to have with beer. They're little rice crackers that are flavored with this really kind of sweet, spicy glaze, and they come usually like this in packs of 6. These are also common to be served in bars if you go to a bar for drinking, and there's different varieties. Here we got sweet plum and wasabi as well. Here we have our selection of miso. Miso, obviously huge in Japanese food, used to make miso soups. I also like to mix a little bit of miso in with mayo and dip vegetables in it. That's really good. Most of these containers are clear so you can actually see the product and see the quality of the product, as you can see right there. These are dried soups, which are another one of my favorite Japanese things. We see the corn variety here. It's easier to ship dried soup than canned soup, so you'll see a lot of powdered soups here in Japan. Here's a cream spinach version as well, and these are great to keep around the house in the winter. And moving on, we see the curry here. These are boxes of curry roux, and you just take these and you mix them with water, usually carrots, potatoes, beef, something like that. Here's a very common one, easy to make. You can see the instructions here on the back. Here's a keema curry variety, which is actually one of my favorites, and then this one here is butter chicken, which is also very, very good. This section here are the different types of rice mix-ins, so you can mix these in bowls of rice, or a lot of people like to use these to flavor onigiri. This is a salmon and nori flavored rice mix-in. This one here is different types of vegetables, as well as nori seaweed. And then this one here is my personal favorite, salt and black sesame seeds. And now we're heading down the coffee and tea aisle. Not too much exciting here in the coffee aisle, but I do want to show you guys these. These are packs of coffee that you open up and you put it over a cup and you just make like an individual serving of drip coffee. This pack has 5 varieties of coffee in it. If you flip it around on the back there, it'll tell you a little bit about each of the types of variety of coffee that come in it. Starbucks is very popular here in Japan, so there's some specialty varieties of Starbucks. And then of course Kyoto, very famous for its coffee roasteries, and you can always find some good Kyoto coffee in Japanese grocery stores as well. Moving on to the matcha section here. I won't spend too long here, but I'll show you these packs of matcha latte mix that are one of my favorites. I like to make these iced in the summer when it's really hot outside. It's just like a good refreshing drink you can make. We have some other powders and mixes for matcha down here as well. All right, moving on to the health and beauty aisle here. We're going to look at some different types of Japanese soaps. I'm showing you these bags here because something Japan does that's really cool, and I think the US should do as well, is they sell bottles. They sell the plastic bottles obviously, but then they sell refill packs that are in these kind of foil containers, so that when you run out of product in the plastic container, you can just get one of the foil packs and refill it. The foil is recyclable and you don't have to waste plastic. I'm trying to reduce the use of single-use plastics in my day-to-day life, and this is a great way to do that if you're trying to do that as well. This is something really cute that you'll only find in Japan. It's a little soap dispenser, but it puts the soap out in the shape of like a little paw, which is really cool. Going back to the refrigerated section now, we have some pre-marinated meats here. Looks like we've got some chicken sticks, some different types of, looks like some dark meat chicken there. Yeah, some white meat chicken, yakitori sticks ready to just take home and put on the grill. A few other things here, some Okinawan pork that's pre-seasoned. Also got another cut of pork here pre-seasoned. I don't know what this is. I think it's pork shoulder. And moving on to the drinks now, as well as soda, you'll see in Japan a lot of varieties of tea in these 1 and 2 liter plastic bottles. Looking at the beer aisle here, I'll show you some of my favorite Japanese beers. This is Sapporo, which is obviously made in Sapporo in Hokkaido. And then this is a local Okinawan beer, Orion, which is made up in Nago on this island. This is really good beer to drink as well. And here we have some cold varieties of sake. And then looking in the main liquor section now, here's all the different types of sake you can get here at a Japanese supermarket. If you like soju, you can typically find a good selection of soju as well. I'll take a second to show you this. This is my favorite soju. It's called Jinro. I like to drink it in the summer when it's really hot and humid outside. I'll usually mix it with a little bit of ice water. That way I don't get dehydrated and hungover when I'm drinking. Japanese supermarkets usually have a really good selection of wine as well, although this one doesn't have such a big variety. They have pretty much every kind of table wine you would expect to find in a grocery store. Merlot, Cabernet, Malbec, Sauvignon Blanc, basically all the best varieties. I think I'm going to pick up this nice bottle of Shiraz to drink tonight after dinner. All right, moving on now. Almost every Japanese supermarket has a bakery inside. This one's called Little Mermaid. It's a chain bakery. You can get things like little sandwiches, and breads that you see here. They also have a selection of sweetbreads. I'll zoom in real quick on these dark cherry tarts. These are one of my absolute favorite things to get here at Little Mermaid. And then these little ham and cheese and tomato sandwiches are really, really good as well. Well, everyone, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to comment down below letting me know what your favorite part of the Japanese supermarket was. Please be sure to like, subscribe, check me out on Instagram, and I'll see you all in the next one.